That was a very, very, very long one there. And a very late one tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm like
that. It's been a crazy busy week, and to be honest, we were not live last week. There was a bit of a sad time going on with a semi-relation, so I didn't feel like coming on and laughing my head off with J-Mac when there was such horrible, sad times going on. So we thought it best to pay respects and no go live, because it's impossible for us to get together and no laugh our heads off. And then this week, it's just been a mad week, as for all of you at home that may or may not know, J-Mac and I we have a film company on the side of this old bad boy podcast, and we're filming our debut short film. So we've been hefty on it. And just, when you've got so many plates spinning, sometimes one of the other plates just takes a wee bit of a slow down, and then you got to get straight back on there and speed it up. So we weren't going to leave everybody without any podcast this week, and I thought we'd just come on here and waffle off a little bit.
That's the thing, man. A lesser podcast would have just dinged everybody, but we are more than happy to come on here and talk to every person that's listening right
now. Matthew Man right now just said, late is it? No. Aye, but we're going to treat this almost like the old Kevin J-Mac call. Mate, do you remember when we first started this podcast? It was, this is the time we would start recording. When it was just a wee audio podcast, this is the time we would start recording.
Yep. Back when I'd send you my file and you'd have your file and you'd try and splice them together, and then somehow it just never matched up. It was funny for the first couple of months.
the wizardry, but we've come a long way. We've come a long way, for real. So tonight we're going to chat a little bit. It's going to be the fly on the wall kind of conversation. You and I will chat a little bit about Sinister, then we'll go into The Black Phone, a movie in which you have not seen, and I indeedly so have. So I'm
so worried about this. Like, Kevin, you do not understand where the line is when it comes to spoilers. So I'm very concerned about how much of this film is going to get ruined for me. I'm willing to do it for the sake of the podcast, but let it be known that I will remember this.
Well,
and I will ruin something for you later in life if you destroy it. I've been looking forward to this film since I first seen a trailer for it, which would have been 6 months ago. I think it was the first time I seen anything about this. Very anticipated, maybe even on a par with that bad boy.
Mate,
so
the more you say that stuff, the more likely I am to screw you over when it comes to it. Right? So if I was you, I just wouldn't mention spoiler. Otherwise, it's all I'm going to think about is spoiling it for you. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone. All that I'll say. Those are the famous.
That's the weirdest face I've ever made.
It's like I'm not going to spoil it for you, but all I'm going to say, right? It's the words you don't want to hear.
I just go back to the Spider-Man thing. It's Spider-Man gate.
Spider-Man gate. Spidey gate. All I'm going to say
he does die, but not like
that. It's a great movie, and anyone that is considering watching it needs to go watch it because it's so worth it. It's really good. Well, you should be, because it's class. It's actual class. So we'll start with Sinister, the movie that I bought back when it came out on Blu-ray. Thought it was all right.
Really? Are you just on the all right with that?
Well,
wow.
Well, here we go, right? Let's go. It's no like we've no seen something like it before. Now, we can talk about Sinister and spoil it a wee bit, because if you've not seen it, it came out in like 2013, 14, or something like that.
I think it was 2012, so you've had your chance.
Right. We're there now. How long's the Black Phone been out?
A few days. So shut up.
I never said you, mate. You've said more about it than me.
Not in public.
On here you did. But we'll start with Sinister, okay? So Sinister is a movie.
Well, moving on to the Black Phone.
Moving on to the Black Phone. I enjoyed Sinister when it came out, but it's one that I kind of forgot about after I seen it because it came out at the same time as like The Possession and Insidious and all that stuff. So I did forget about it a little bit. One thing I'll say though, after seeing the Black Phone, and this is something you can see in the trailers, etc., etc. It's not a spoiler, right? But the guy that made this movie has a specific way of his hussies. Like he likes his hussies to all look like they're in the same movie because the hussies that are in for Americans watching, that's houses. The house, the houses that are in Sinister. After watching Black Phone, I rewatched Sinister.
I'm just pictures going, what the hell's a hoose? I've never heard of a hoose.
A hoose is it like a hose?
Must be some kind of garden appliance. I don't know.
A hoose.
A hoose.
Well, the hussies in this movie are very similar to the Black Phone. So Sinister and Black Phone, the houses look exactly alike. The neighborhoods look the same. So there's probably a stylistic approach from the director, which sees him liking that kind of stuff because it's defo what's going on this, right?
Something to mention, obviously, is the fact that this is the second collaboration between Ethan Hawke and Scott Derrickson, who obviously directed these movies.
Well, I will.
What?
I will get into performances when we talk about the Black Phone, but we know Ethan Hawke, man. We'll get to the Black Phone. We will get to the Black Phone. But
actually, I do have something just slightly contrary to what you were saying about his films having a certain look, and he loves these type of houses. I give you The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Aye, yeah.
Farmhouse, totally different, but you can have that one. That's fine.
Well,
I sound like Beetlejuice there.
I've
seen The Exorcist 167 times.
Mate, I dare you to phone up the director Scott Derrickson and just say your movies are class. Right here on the show.
But how about no? Mate, you need to catch me in a very certain state of inebriation for me to just phone directors. It has happened. And the guy asked me to phone back, which was mental.
I thought you were Ron Perlman.
I still can't believe that happened.
And then came on the show. Tibor Takas, shout out.
The director of The Gate, classic horror film from 1986. Oh man, that was so funny. Out of curiosity, why you got Ron Perlman's picture as your profile? Like, I've got one thing to say, mate. Kind of look a wee bit like him in a certain angle. That angle being anywhere. Yes. So that happened. Not tonight.
know. Oh, come on. What a letdown. Boo. One thing I did like about Sinister is it's no fear to cut a child's throat on screen.
Yeah, I noticed they did it in a very tasteful way, like how you can tastefully slit a kid's throat. Like because I watched it last night and it was clever the way it was done. It kind of showed it but didn't. But the Sinister, I always recommend that film to anybody.
Aye.
Like honestly, man, I say to people, if anybody says I've not seen a decent horror film for ages, I'll say, have you seen Sinister? Because I think it's the best horror film we've had for the last 20 years. Easy.
What? That's
easy.
Why? What about it? There was a Sinister 2 as well.
That was shite. That was a steaming hot pile of poo. But there's just something about it, man. It gets under your skin. Scott Derrickson does this thing where he kind of mixes horror with like crime thriller in a way that I haven't really seen done before, to be honest. And I think that's why Sinister works so well. The the fact that like you were saying about the setting in the house, I mean that could be any bungalow in any house anywhere in the world, and that's quite clever because if you look, most films made in America are inherently American. Like, as soon as you look at the house, oh, that's in America. That's got to be America. That house there could literally be like 2 streets up for me. Just with the design of it and the layout, you could place it anywhere. And
You know, Scott Derrickson's actually announced to be the one directing the sequel to Labyrinth.
okay,
It's called Labyrinth 2. Plot twist: David Bowie's not in it. Do you know who I think would?
Mate, I bet he will be. I bet he will be.
Do you know? I think
some jiggery pokery.
What they really should do is just get Jack Black to play Jareth. He'd be a great shout to play that character.
I don't think they should bring Jareth back.
Nah, exactly. But if they have someone like Jareth, but there's Jack Black, I think he'd fit. I think he's the right guy for it.
I think they should have Jonah Hill play the baby for the first one.
Toby.
We Toby. Jonah Hill, Toby. Jonah, Toby. Joby. Well, nothing. Tra la la. What? We're in the labyrinth now.
But it's true. That's what he's doing.
I hold high hope for it. Then let me try. I can't speak tonight, man. I've literally just done a shift. I drove home at the speed limit to get here on time to do this show that I then found out didn't really have a proper start time.
Well, I did ask you. I was like, "What time will we schedule it for?" And I got I got pied. So I was
when?
And check your messages, mate. Check your messages.
I said I'll be home for like 11:15. You were like, cool.
Aye.
And that was it.
I said, so what time will I schedule the show for? You know, because you have to get in and get ready and stuff. That's exactly what I said to you. What time shall we schedule the show for? And it got patched.
Are you writing that right now?
No, I'm looking at it right now. Right. I said, what time should I schedule the show for? Then I got patched.
Where is it?
It's the one right above the meme of a guy holding Luro that says, "Your butt napkins, my lord."
Oh, there it is. Do you know why I never seen that message? Because I was distracted by a skeleton with a bog roll. I'm sorry.
So there you go. Right back at you.
You did send it, but excuse me for missing it.
Skeleton bog roll. It's such an us conversation. Jesty Fungi, nice to meet you, pal. It looks like you've come straight for Planet Zog. Nice to meet you. And Matthew, man, here he is. Evening, gents. Missed the start. Was getting ready for my scratch. Sorry, mate.
It's midnight. We're doing a live podcast, isn't it?
I know. We just thought this would be a nice wee catch up. It's been a really, really long 2 weeks for various reasons, but really good, productive on the second week. Maybe not the first. But it's been very good and productive, and we're heading towards bigger things and all that really cool stuff. So we are very much making this effort to speak to each other and letting you guys kind of be the fly on the wall and chat to us. Tell us what you thought of Sinister and perhaps the Black Phone with no spoilers. We'll get to the Black Phone. So Sinister, mental movie. I didn't think it was that scary. I didn't think it was like, oh my God, it's not something I've seen before. It's a thing that...
Couldn't disagree more. I think I was watching it last night and I was still like, this is still horrid.
Quite a scary bit when his boy comes out of the box.
That was a bit of a kind of red herring though. Like as the film goes on, you kind of realise that doesn't really have much to do with anything. It was a cool way to give us all a fright. I don't quite understand the demonic scream that was coming out of him. I thought it would maybe lead on to some kind of possession thing with him, but it just didn't. But anyway, it was still creepy. In 2020, Forbes magazine conducted a study, the Science of Scare Project, right? They basically showed, I think, how many films? 35 horror films to a group of people. and monitored their heart rate during each film to see which ones they were finding the scariest, basically. And this film won out of 35 films, right? Average heart rate at 86, spiking at 131 beats per minute.
That's because it bursts every 2 minutes or something, bursting out of the fucking shadows, scaring you.
Nah.
It was very jump. It's a very jump scare thing. Aye, it is.
But any of the jump scares that are in it are pretty much. I don't think there's any false jump scares. If there are, they're very limited. So no,
No, it's
good,
all scary stuff. Aye.
it's a
You
good
lass's heat
film.
coming up behind you, and she's like, "Oh, I'm dead."
Oh, see that by just that wee lassie's face with the wee scars on it. Kind of
Mate,
reminded me of Reagan.
mate,
I was like, shut myself
mate,
again.
sit back down. Now I get it. Now I know why it gets you. The whole deed kids thing.
Not
Scary.
good.
Scary. I mean, not good. Definitely not good. But I mind you saying that scares you more than anything scares you. It is very much a wee scary thing. So, C. Matthewman says, loving the new profile picture of all your updated work. It looks class.
Mhm.
No a fan of Sinister, to be honest. See? Always thought the Bagul looked like MJ. No seen Black Phone yet. Heard it was decent. Bagul looks like MJ. He looks more like Jared Butler in real life.
What?
Than MJ.
Um,
He does have a wee look at Jared Butler.
It's one thing that it kind of pissed me off a wee bit. Like on Netflix, like Sinister. I mean, the fact that it's got this kind of crime element to it as well as a horror. They give too much away on the Netflix blurb. Like when you go to watch it on Netflix, like the wee thumbnail that comes up with Ethan Hawke just like meh, that's fine. But then when you can highlight it and then it brings up the bigger picture, there's Bagul holding a child. No need. Leave that as a surprise. Like, I mean, the first time I seen that, I didn't know that was a thing, and then I seen that fucking guy in the swimming pool. I was like, oh no, I don't like him. I find Bagul creepy. I really do.
I suppose. I'm itching to get onto the Black Phone, mate. Itching to get onto the Black Phone. Well, we go to the Black Phone. Sinister's right? It's aight. Check it.
Right. Okay.
So the Black Phone. Let me tell you.
Let me put these here.
Put them back on you, mate. Nah, I'm not gonna waste it. All I'll say is this, right? They've definitely borrowed from Stranger Things, 1,000,000,000%, because at 3 different points of the movie, I said to my wife, well, there's Billy, there's, and all these characters were clearly stenciled straight from Stranger Things characters, which I'm totally fine with, by the way, right? Fine with that. It's cool, because what was it like in the 80s? So these, I like that it's set back in the day. Also, another thing I like is nobody's got a cell phone. Remember Stephen McCall told us that just didn't draw attention to any phones. And then it's like the audience they're not conditioned to think about there being phones to use, yeah? I know the movie's called Black Phone, but that's the only phone that you see in the movie. Yeah? That's the only phone you see in the movie. And now let me tell you this about the movie, which is again not a spoiler, but there's a part in that movie that really disturbed me to the point I don't find myself doing this in movies ever. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. And I actually turned my head away because I was like, I don't like this. And it made me feel really uncomfortable.
Right.
And it's not what you're expecting. It's not a kid being like fucking boiled or anything like that. It's something that the scene doesn't even include like the main bad guy or anything like that. Somebody breaking into your house.
I'm hearing something, but I don't know what it is.
What's going on? Let's have a look, my man. J-Mac is about to right in your gaff. Oh, well, something's going on in his gaff. It's Bagul.
Baguette.
And his belly rumbling.
I'm just starving, that's what it is.
Baguette. Rose Bank Ross, nice to meet you. How are you doing, Rose? Nice to see you here for the first time in our chat. Stick around. You in the Hall of Fame. Hi. So, mate, something in this movie. How often do I tell you? I laugh at stupid stuff in movies. I laugh at people getting killed. in all these scenes, right? But there's a scene in it that's too raw and it's too like. Let me just say that the actress, the young actress, who's the voice of Bonnie, by the way, Toy Story's Bonnie.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the young girl. Her sister's actually in the A Haunting of Hill House. You know, the small girl who
Yeah, yeah,
plays the
yep.
young version of the bent snap neck lassie.
Oh, yep, yep.
Aye, so her sister is in this movie, and like the black phone, and it's actually like just she puts in probably the best performance in it.
I've heard from numerous online reviewers, not us included,
Mhm.
that the child performances in this are particularly good, especially for a horror film.
Well, I would say that some of them, by the way, and tell me after you've watched the movie which one. There's one where I was like, that felt like they were just reading that off a piece of paper, only in one scene. But the young girl, her name is it slips me as we speak. No, it's Madeline McGraw. Phenomenal. She for me was the strongest. I think she's got a huge future ahead of her.
Cool.
Ethan Hawke, phenomenal.
He's
You know
Ethan
how?
Hawke, isn't he?
But the thing is, when you see Ethan Hawke,
He can Ethan the Hawk out of anything.
he reminds his character reminds me a little Jokery esque. You know that way where it's like, but then it goes like that and becomes something else. Loved it. Absolutely loved his portrayal of the bad guy in this movie.
The Grabber.
And I think he put on a bit of muscle as well, by the way, because there's a scene where he's sitting topless, and I'm like, that a body double or is that Ethan Hawke? Because he didn't look as jacked.
So you beefing up, son? Beefing Hawk?
Beefing Hawk. Do you know what? For any gamer listening, do you know what I would liken this game to? A game called, what's the neighbor one? Hello Neighbor, where you sneak into the old guy's house and try and no catch, and if he catches you, he takes you into the cellar kind of thing.
Sounds like Don't Breathe.
A little bit different. A little bit different. This has all elements of movies like what's the one with Tim Robbins and Sean Penn? Mystic River. Mystic River?
Right. Yeah.
Right. It's got elements of Mystic River meets a dodgy scene in the Butterfly Effect meets
I'm gonna call your mother and tell her what a naughty little shit you've been.
there's a warmth to the movie, right? That makes you say, if there I'd like to have seen more I would like to have seen these characters in other movies know about this. Do you know what I mean? It created such a warmth within the story that I would have liked to have seen like a prequel or a sequel, but obviously not with the mad grabber in it. That's his name, the grabber.
The mad grabber sounds funny.
Right, but that's how he acts, is exactly how you'd expect the mad grabber to act.
The mad grabber.
Aye. There's that, that eeriness that it has to it. That has that, like the missing poster and the, nobody knows where he went, and we hear this and it becomes lore. What is this really? Don't say his name because he'll find you and all this stuff. And then when you actually follow in the story, you're like, this actually is just more simple than it seems, and it just shows you that like fear can take hold of you based on the not knowing, and you can run with that and create something bigger. When reality, it's just a guy in a mask. You know what I mean?
Well, I remember, like, I asked you how it was because you're lucky enough to have got to see it, and I haven't yet. And you said it was good. Just good. I'm hearing literally nothing but good things about this.
Oh no, it's great. It was really good.
Really good.
I'm no shitting on it, man. It was class. I'll get it on Blu-ray. That's
right. Okay.
I will get it on Blu-ray, and it's one I'll watch again at some point. I think there's too much good stuff in it. There's not really a lot of plot holes. Like you start to figure it out before everything's revealed. Nothing's left unanswered at the end of it. You know?
That's actually one thing I would say about Sinister is, like, there's some things that happen in it where you're going, I I think, like for example, there's a bit where he's in the attic and he gets a fright and he falls through the ceiling, right? Decks it, falls right through the ceiling, decks it, bang. This is the middle of the night. Not one of his family heard it and got up to check on him. I was like, somebody would have heard that.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
You think they'll
Other than that, it's perfect.
I think they learn from that. And there's an actor, Jeremy Davies. He plays like the dad. I thought for a minute that he was going to be like the Dafty in it, but no,
I think I recognize his name. That is the guy who plays Corporal Opham.
And Saving Ryan Private.
Saving Private Ryan, yep.
No.
The guy you just get so annoyed with through the entire film until he actually redeems himself at the end. He's a good, like, kind of twitchy, strange guy. So I wouldn't surprise me that you would say that about his particular character. Apart from the fact that it was advertised as Ethan Hawke, that's the imagine.
Of course. I just thought, oh, maybe, you know, the scene that I'm talking about, the one that really had me uneasy, he's in it. And I'm like, oh, man.
Oh, no. Is this butterfly effecty?
No, kind of, but no. Nobody's being raped, right? The thing is about his cat, like, him
and demonetized.
I say there's none of that in it. He's him and the other people in the scene. It's their performances that really. I think you could take other actors, and if they hadn't have done it as well, I wouldn't have looked away.
Right.
But because of how well they were doing it, made me go, right, nah, screw this. Like I couldn't watch a movie full of that, and I will never. The only time I'll ever turn a movie off or leave a cinema or whatever is if the movie's fucking horrendous to the point where I can't even get a good Matthew Man laugh at it. Like if you kind of get like, here comes a rubber shark killing you, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And for me, it was uncomfortable. And it doesn't. No movie really makes me feel uncomfortable. And I've seen a Serbian film. And that did make me feel uncomfortable, but not to this extent, which tells you something.
Really?
Right, really. And it's not even, mate, the scene's not even anything close to what that is. Like, the scene actually is something that happens all the time that's not even, like, you wouldn't go to jail for it. Right?
I'm a guy that's I'm totally against censorship and stuff. I think people should be allowed to watch whatever they want to watch. But I think a Serbian film should be banned. I think it's a horrendous film. Like, it's a bad film. It's not a good film, first of all, right?
Mhm.
It's a bad film. It's made just to make you feel ill. If it makes you feel anything other than ill, you are fucking deranged, right? That film should not be available to the general masses, and I'll argue that with anybody that wants to argue it with me. There's stuff in that film that scarred me, and I'm never going to forgive the filmmakers for it. It shouldn't be there.
What was your favorite scene?
The end credits.
The bit before the end credits.
No, the end credits. That's it.
Matthewman says Serbian film, lol. Martyrs did it for me.
Yeah, I've heard of Martyrs. It's obviously pretty infamous. I think it's a French film, but I think it was remade as well. I don't know if the remake is on par with the original French version.
What happens in Martyrs?
I think it's about two girls who get rhymed with graped, and they take revenge on the people that did it. As far as I know, I've never
like I spit on your grave, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but I've heard it's pretty horrendous. How the character of the grabber? How would you rate him in the kind of plethora of horror lore that we have going on in characters? How do you think he is? How do you think he'll stand up as a character in years to come?
I think people will be dressing as him in Halloween for Halloween. That's what I think. Nothing to do with grape. Check it out. Matthewman's calling you bluff on it, mate. Avoid the remake at all costs.
Okay.
Matthewman's calling you out. Not
Oh,
to do
that's
with
what I
great.
thought. That's what I thought it was. I might be wrong. I know it's about two girls that do nasty shit to people.
Matthewman has wronged you. He's been like,
Um,
phony! It's a phony!
you big fat phony.
Uh,
A big fat black phony.
he means
That's
the
a
movie.
reference to the film. Sorry.
That's getting screenshot.
That was one of those hindsight problems. Oh God. But funnily enough, you were saying that you think people are going to dress up as him for Halloween and stuff. I watched the Crow the other night, right, with a good mate of mine who lives around the corner, who has never seen it. Okay.
Sure.
He was born just after the film came out. He'd never seen it. He was never interested in it, and I got him to watch it. And I've done this with him a few times. Like I've shown him films that I think he'll like, and he's just like, no. But we got to the end of The Crow, and he was like, "Man, that was good." It stands up. It stands up to the test of time with a few forgivable bad special effects. But
Mate, we
hopefully,
covered The Crow.
yeah. Oh, I know. I remember it well. And
Those
yeah,
are good days.
hopefully. I mean that that mask. I mean, it's horrid, and I know that he changes the mouthpiece on the mask depending on what his mood is. That's a cool element. Never seen anything like that before. That's pretty cool.
He's very much one of those guys too. Like the mask is part of what he does. So if you take the mask off, he's like, ah!
Without giving anything away, is his background discussed at all in the film, or is he just the mysterious nutter?
All you really know about him is what you see.
Right.
Is that he is the grabber. He don't get me wrong, he takes like parts of his mask off and he comes in and he chats to his victims, and you start to I think what's done really well with it is you figure him out based on how he's acting. You figure him out.
Right.
You get me? So like
Yeah.
he comes across all sweet and that, like, yeah, I'm not gonna hurt you. And you're like, well, if you weren't, why would you? You know what I mean? So you ask yourself a lot of questions. And then it's like, then you start to go, okay. And then the phone starts to go and you realize, well, wait a minute, this phone's no plugged in. So what's going on here? And then you figure out it's actually made from a short film, right? This was initially a short film. And the short film, the difference between the short film and this is like the short film left you wondering. Well, of course, right? But the short film left you going, was that wee boy hearing these things in his head or were they actually there? This movie rules that out straight away. Like,
Okay.
so that question isn't, you're not left with that question, right?
Okay.
But the short film, you are left with, is it actually in his head? And
have you seen the short film?
No, I read up about it.
All right. I was just wondering if it's available anywhere to watch, because I might delve into it if I can find it.
Watch it after this.
Right. Okay.
But I really, really, really enjoyed it. I'm glad I went to see it. I think everybody should go see it. And it's not horror as in like, it's not a jump scary movie. It's more like, oh no, turn round, like that. You know, those way where you're just like fucking, when somebody's trying to do something to get away or something, and you're like, oh no, come on, hurry up, oh faster, what are you fucking doing?
See, this is the thing. I mean, I think Scott Derrickson, hopefully, if he keeps going the way that he's going, I think he's going to be remembered as one of the great horror movie directors. Like the Exorcism of Emily Rose is one of my favorite horrors, and it's not even really a horror. It's got horror elements to it, and it's essentially a courtroom drama with the horror story built into it. And I think the way that he mixes genres together is really, really clever. I think the way he gets things shot is clever. And did I say clever too much?
No,
I think I did.
You said it a clever amount of times.
I said it clever. Well, that was clever of me. But no, I think if he keeps going the way he's going, I think we're going to be in for a good number of treats with this guy. And I look forward to every one of them. And the more things that he does with Ethan Hawke, the more things I'm going to be happy about.
Oh,
The Is there anything you would change about the film? Like if you could say, do that a bit different, do this a bit different, without being able to spoil anything.
without being able to spoil it, I wish. No, I can't say that because that'll spoil it. I wish, and there probably is. There's gonna be. Is there? I can't say it with it.
Right,
In it.
okay.
All I wish.
I would say tell me off air, but don't.
Nah, I would like to see more of this. So you got Sinister 2, right? But then again, if we see more of this, could they make it as good as this? I mean, the Black Phone is essentially the story of the phone, right? So everything's built around that and not so much the killer. The killer's a part of the phone story, right? So to have the Black Phone 2 would have to be set completely a bit different. That would be all right. To have that phone concept set around other scenarios and other parts of the world
Mm,
that are non-related, but then again, would the concept's all right, and I'm big on a huge decent concept like the Death Note concept. Love that. That could be replicated in so many different movies.
mhm.
You're aware of the Death Note
Yeah.
concept? Yeah, come across a book. You write in the book somebody's name and how you want them to die, and it fucking happens. Like, how much could you write on that?
Yeah, you got like Black Phone, Death Note,
Mm, mhm.
Jumanji. just
Right.
just something you can find that's going to screw your life up in some way.
Change his name. The grabber sound like it could be about a certain prince.
Normally, it's something that we say that get us demonetized. Now we can thank Big Craig Matthew, man.
Matthew man.
Shake, Matt.
That's funny.
Um,
Nah, it's. I'd like to. I would like that the movie had been longer, only because it's one of those things that you go, "Ah, that was good," and now I'm kind of sucks that it's done.
how long is the movie? Actually, I don't even know what the runtime is.
Um,
We check that out.
I can take a wee check. Aye.
I
I did.
think normally for a horror film, the perfect length for a horror film tends to be about 90 minutes to maybe an hour 40.
I think it was
Unless
just under 2 hours.
yeah, unless it's something a bit different. Or like The Conjuring, I think is a wee bit longer.
When I went into this movie, I chose deliberately not to look at anything. I just wanted to go in and go, I don't even know what I'm watching. All I know is a guy with a creepy face. That's all I knew.
Aye.
Right. So what going into what I say is the pacing's really good. It does take its time to tell you what happens in it, like to give you that build towards like you want to like the characters, you know. It's an hour and 43 minutes. The movie.
That's pretty decent. That's pretty much
So
perfect.
so I'm like at the point where I'm like, oh, I hope that person doesn't get. You know what I mean? And there's enough characters in there. There's enough characters in there to make you go, oh, that character. Oh, do you know what I mean?
Aw, me so.
It's got the never ending story element to it as well. Get back in there.
But see, do you ever find yourself getting to that age where you say, "We soul"?
No,
No, you'll get there, man. It's
I'll
a few
get
years
there.
away, but I found myself starting to do it over the last maybe 2-3 years. I'm getting to that age where you can say the word soul and nobody looks at you. Nobody looks at you weird.
So,
So and we soul. What does that even mean? Soul? We soul?
mhm.
But the does this have the again? I'm just going to go back to Sinister for a minute. One of the things that really stands out to me or stood out to me about Sinister was the soundtrack, the music, or the kind of lack of music, and the more of the fact that it was just weird, eerie sounds until it gets towards the end, and you just got this.
Yeah, I hated that.
I
Hated
loved
that.
it. I loved it.
Hated it.
Loved it.
Fucking annoying.
Loved it.
Hated it.
This is why you and me make good podcasters. 'Cause we fucking just we just don't like the same things.
Not some mate. Come on, rock.
I think
Never
it's
ending
different
story.
things.
Aye.
Certain things. Like I mean,
Mhm.
this. I mean, what is it? You think Terminator 3 is good for God's sake?
You hate it. You think it's rotten for fuck's sake.
I do. To the fact we made a TikTok about it, a very funny TikTok, which you can find on TikTok.
I didn't think it was that funny.
I thought it was funny.
It
You
would have been
didn't think it
funny
was
if
that
you
funny.
put You had to put a like fucking Crispy's Crush in there.
I didn't know that existed at the time. Otherwise, I'd have put a right crispy down there.
On top of it. All right, Crispy. I love it. Ah. All right, Crispy.
I'm away for a crispy. I'm going to use that for.
I'm away for a
Where you going, mate? I'm away for a crispy.
I got to tell it's cursed on it, isn't it? It's now. God. So I really liked it. I liked the element of it that was very much a new horror. We weren't watching something with
Oh,
it's fine, mate. It's like midnight. We're allowed to yawn. We're allowed to yawn. It's been a long day.
Oh, it's past on.
Mm-hmm.
When?
Well, it won't be. I really liked the fact that it was something new. It was something fresh. Blumhouse are up in the game with the movies they've got coming out. I'm really happy with that. What I liked about this is, as well, there is a couple times where you're like, oh, thank fuck, and then you're like, no, it's the wrong one. Like you're like, oh, we're home safe. No, we're no. We're no. Oh, I like what you did there. You made me think we were home safe, but actually we're no. Ken that way where it's like for me, you're like, oh, good. Oh, and then you go, it's fine because everything's gone the way it should. And then like a door opens and you're like, yeah, they've just shown us it happening somewhere completely different, and now he's actually fucked. Like that.
Oh, okay.
Like that. That happens a few times in it, which is class. It's like it gives you a false sense of security.
I know. I can look forward to going to see it where I think that they're going to be okay, and I can just turn to the wife and go, by the way, based on what Kevin said, get it fucked.
No, because you don't know what I'm referring to. I say they and all that. Trust me, you'll not see anything coming. Anything. And it's good. It's got elements of everything in it, man, that I really enjoyed. The characters meant something. Every character that you come across, you either dislike them or really like them, right? There's no a character you would take or leave. You're like, oh, no him. Or you're like, oh, she's nice. You know? You know, like, who was that again? You know what I mean?
Was your, if you were to be forced to give it a mark out of 10, Kevin, what would you give it?
I got a 9 on my IMDb.
And you gave it a 9? You gave it a 9? That's good, man. That's nice and high. Right,
that'll go up to 10 in about 5-10 years when I go, that was a class movie. But that's the only way you get to 10. 9's the highest it goes until it's like, legacy.
What?
9 is as high as I go until you get legacy status, which is like never ending story. That gets a 10. Why? Because I loved it as a 9 when I first saw it. Loved it as a 9 as a movie, but because it's like that movie for that time, it gets a 10.
Okay. I
get
you.
Me? So it's sitting at a 9, but I really wouldn't complain about any of it. Do you know what? Do you know one thing I complain about? Not just this movie, but many movies. The fact that cops are always mega shite, and every movie it's always the neighbor, it's always the fucking protagonist that solves the crime, and never the cops. And they always look stupid. Eh?
I don't know if that's a kind of social commentary on police themselves or the lack of what's the word? Or the constraints that they work within that stops them from being able to do their jobs properly. Do you know what I mean? I think there's an element of that. I think that there are many cops who, given endless power, would get their job done properly. You've also got the cops that, given endless power, would misuse that power. So there has to be constraints, but I think the constraints that are set for police to do their jobs stops them from doing it effectively in so many ways. But that's a conversation for a whole other podcast.
We'll get this right. In this movie, it even pokes fun at that a wee bit. With none. But listen, I just think, imagine you're watching a movie, right?
I have to applaud you for really holding back. You're doing really well.
Thanks, man.
This is like anyway. Spoiler alerts anonymous.
I know, right? I'm like, oh,
you're like, I need to say something about Connie.
Well, how cool would it be to watch a movie and it's like halfway through it, they go to like the basement where something's going on, and they're like, oh, It's already been solved. The cops, the cops, like, we had this one, and it's done.
Hi. It's like how'd you know this was happening? We're the police. We
know.
know. We're
Yeah,
better than you. That's why we work here.
right. You're like, oh well then. I can put down the shovel and all that, and my flashlight and all that. Montage was for nothing. Do you know what I mean?
We could do something with this.
Right? The cops actually get it done halfway through the movie. Leave you with like an open-ended, like, oh well, what now? Do you know one thing?
Open-ended, open-ended.
One
Nobody's
thing
going to
I'll
get that.
say- I get it. One thing
Cool.
I'll say about this movie is the ending that I didn't like.
No.
No. I love the ending, but there was something that said it's like a news report, and we're reporting from blah 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 blah, where blah 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 blah, right? And I'm like, no, you fucking didn't. No, what didn't happen like that? Did not happen like that, and it's realistic. So so there's every reason to like it, but I'm like, fuck off. And basically, in the news report, they say something that's not exactly true. Like it's like credit is taken.
The
where it's
news
not due.
said something that's not exactly true. Oh my goodness, what a shocker.
Yeah, but the character, like, it's like imagine I burst into your room, right? This isn't what happens. This is so far away from what happens, so that it's not a spoiler, right? I'm just using this as an example. I burst into your room and you're having a heart attack, right? And I put you into a position and I do all the bits and I stop you from being able to die. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then it's
Like I say, I stopped you from being able to die, like I was trying to.
and then it's like this news report from J Max Gaff. Mel bursts in and saves the day. It's like Mel wasn't even there.
It was me.
Mel wasn't even there. What do you mean, wife bursts in to save man for dying? Wife wasn't there. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And I'm just like, all right, he's just reporting anything, eh?
But again, it could be a commentary on how quick the media are to put stories out that aren't necessarily true. See, it used to be that the media, the news companies would try to be the first people that got to the truth and the first people to release the truth. Now it's just about being the first people to release the story.
True.
And that's maybe just a wee commentary on that. Just saying, I don't know, I haven't seen it. It might just be an oversight, but I can't wait to see this film. By the way.
Mate, put it this way: enjoy it. You're not going to go in there and hate it. This exactly what you're anticipating. All the reasons you want to see it are all the reasons why you're going to enjoy it. So go into that going, this is going to be class, because it is.
Yeah.
Easily, it's easily for me. It's no Top Gun of the year, but it's no far off it.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. That's a good sign. I'll take that as a massive win. Excuse me. So, where can we see it, Kevin?
Any cinema that you live near that's not the one I currently.
Such a shame. Such a shame.
No, my fault. Work in progress. Let's put it that way.
That's what you're for, mate. That's what you're for.
Exactly. The progress.
So, unfortunately, I will have to go see it at a conglomerate cinema. But I very much look forward to seeing it. I have no idea what I was going to say.
You feeling alright? Is your Mac?
Nah, it happens every now and again. I just draw a blank.
Well,
it's been a long time since I've anticipated a horror film in particular like this one. So, and I really can't wait to see it. And thank you for not spoiling anything. As far as I know, I'll probably go and watch it and go, he spoiled that, the dick, man. Just spoiled it by proxy. Didn't even notice, man.
No, you could you'll go and watch it, come out and go, mate, that was fucking shite. You tell me it was class, and I'm like, I know, right? Just
Nah, see, I know that's not going to happen because you would never have told me that right now.
No, definitely not.
You're too much of a perfectionist to let that one slip.
Trying to think, I think, mate, I've done a few things in the last couple of days that have had me howling 'Cause wound
It's
folk
like
up.
I've done things that made myself laugh.
And I just forgot to tell you, but I've proper wound folk up recently and just been like, "This is class." That and your twin sister looks at me like that and goes, "You are something else. You are something else." Like I'm not even going to say it because the person watches this show, I'll know that I proper twisted something to make it seem like someone else broke something when it was actually me.
Oh, man, such a dick.
The other person got proper moaned it and everything, like, "Well, you didn't even know, you should have." "I didn't, it was him." And I'm like, "Aye, right." I was like, and then I explained what I done, like
This is
they
this,
done it.
this is what you do when you're trying to get something. You're just like, it wasn't me. I saw him there. I saw him there. And then you'll come up with a backstory about how you saw them walk in and do things.
Aye, and that
And it's not
backstory is
plausible. That's the problem.
exactly how I done it. That's exactly how I done it. I just
It's like,
switched the
I saw him
character.
walk in and then look at the sky longingly thinking, I'm going to do something ridiculous here. And then I just saw him do it. He told me he was going to do it. I can't believe you're backing out on it, James.
Let me tell you something funny. This is one to do with your sister. It's a stink bomb incident, right?
Oh,
So I was in the office with your nephew Connor, right? And I found these stink bombs. He didn't see me find them. So I was like, class, right? So I was with
can I just
Heather.
give a shout out to Connor for still having stink bombs? It's 2022, man. Stink bombs were a thing when I was like 8.
See, you've just... the story's not finished yet, right? So I found them in the office, right? And I got in your sister's car and I thought this will be a funny scenario, right? So we went out to Booker's. On the way back, I popped it into like a Twix wrapper so that I could A, remove the evidence, and B, I know I'm stinking a carrot, but what'd you take me for? I'm not going to leave that stuff on the floor, right? Clean up after myself. So I put stink bomb down and I snap it, right? And I'm like, oh, here we go. And I get a whiff of it just before she does. And I'm like, was this funny? And she's like, aye, 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 aye. Oh! She's like, oh! She's like, what is that? Is that you? I'm like, is that me? I'm like, are you kidding me? You think I'm capable of this? Right? So she's up in the window going, can I even smell it? Right? She's literally like, right? Proper like, oh! And we're both howling.
Why did you not film it?
I did. I'll send you it.
Did you?
Aye.
Why
Aye.
is it not online?
I'll show you, right? In fact, while I'm here, I'll do it.
Oh, man. That'd be
right?
amazing.
I'll send it. I'll send it, and I'll send it here as I'm telling the story, right?
Oh, I thought you were going to
So,
bring it up.
aye, I'm gonna, but I need to send it to our stream and then bring it up. So while I'm telling the story, I'll send it, right? So she's like, "Bleh, bleh," and I'm laughing my head off in her car, right? But we haven't got to the best it is. So we get back, right? And she's like, that's humming, don't know what it is, isn't it? We're even walking away from the car and we can still smell it, right? So it's like it's an issue for her. She's like, "Bleh." She was even sick and all that, right? And I'm like, come on, that's a bit far, man, for fuck's sake. It's a bit far. You're acting a bit much.
See, the thing is, right? Like, I understand, like, if you fart in somebody's car, right, it's easy to enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? But letting off a stink bomb, all you've done is let off a stink bomb. Surely you must have thought it was disgusting as well.
I did, but it was worth it, mate. It was worth it.
See, there's a difference between your own brand and just something else.
I know. I was happy to deal with it, knowing that it caused...
Is it still in the wee glass vials? Like, you pop them?
It is, man. It is.
Wow.
Now, here's the wow. Here's the thing, right?
Wow. I have a stink bomb in my sister's car.
So the best it is, we get to the office, right? We get into the office and Connor turns up, and Heather's like, "Oh man," right? But before Connor comes in, right? Heather's like, "Honestly, did you set off a stink bomb?" And I thought, right, this is where I'm just going to laugh now. I'm like, ha ha ha! Aye, I did. And she's like, "Fucking honestly, where did you get them?" And I was like, "Ken, how Connor came in the day." Now, obviously, this is all a lie, right? I found them in a cupboard. while Connor was with me. He didn't give me them. He didn't know nothing about it.
So
right?
also you stole it from a kid.
No. It was in a cupboard in the office. They'd been left there in the church.
They've been left there, so I just assume it's all mine.
Right. So I was like, oh, dancer. So Connor shows up, right? And before he comes in, I've already said to Heather, she's like, honestly, where did you even get them? We never went to a shop. I was like, I know. I says, Connor came in the day and handed them to me and told me to burst them in your car. She's like, oh, did he? I was like, aye. He literally came in here, handed me these stink bombs, right? And then let them off in the car. That's why when because Connor had came and Heather had said, my car's stinking, don't smell it. And he came in and he was like, oh, that is stinking. And she's like, yeah. He's like, what? It's like, you gave him and you tell him to stay. Right? Because I'd say, look, he did.
Let me guess. Let me guess. Connor's here, right? Connor's here, right? Heather's here. You are here going. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
He's looking at me going, what the fuck? And I'm like, Connor, it's fine, I've told her. And he's like, what? She's like, Connor, look into my eyes. Look into my eyes. Did you? He's like, no, I didn't. And I'm like, Connor, I've told her it's fine. Honestly, she thinks it's funny, right? Connor, I had to tell her. No, I didn't.
Surely at that point, Heather went. Kevin.
Well, she knew it had something to do with me. Just she still knows.
It's always something to do with you, mate. Nothing's ever not to do with you.
Not always.
You just got this amazing innate ability to just insert yourself into situations, fuck things up, and stand back and watch it like Friends in 1994.
See, sometimes I don't know why nobody turns around to look at me and go, it's him. There's scenarios where I've seen like 6 people in one room all start fighting, right? And then I step back, and it's all because I planted wee seeds, and I watch them all fight, all right? And I'm like,
they call that toxic, mate.
No, because it's meant to be a laugh.
To you, thing is, it's a laugh to you, and then what happens is families break up, and you're like,
it's never gone as that far. Somebody died once. No, I'm kidding. I was there, but it had nothing to do with me. What? Oh, something going on in your house?
No, that's me just trying to process what you've just said.
No, it was nothing to do with me. Swear to God, I think a guy died, but it had nothing to do with me because I was not partaking.
So all I did was leave a banana skin outside a lift shaft. That's all I did.
Fuck all to do with me. Here's this video of your sister reacting to the stink bomb.
What is it? What is this? What is it? I don't know.
Want to see the most fucked up thing?
Just one more time.
What is it? What is this?
Look, there's the stink bomb in there. Can you smell it too? What I know, the most fucked up bit is when she parked up, she spewed, and then a seagull started eating her spew. That's the most fucked up shit that happened that day.
Oh, you're a fucking horrible person.
I am not. I was nice thereafter.
Oh,
it's funny though, right?
Oh man,
horrible people are people that do horrible stuff. That was fun.
Just do it one more time. Just
see how do you all.
What is it? What is this? What is it? I don't know.
And then the seagull.
Here comes the seagull. That's eating her spear.
Yummy.
Ew. That's eating what she had for lunch.
Oh, man. She's never going to forgive you for that.
Nah, I don't think she has. Nah, she has. She's
No,
she's
no,
sorted it.
no. I mean for putting it online.
all right, all right. I'm like, she forgive me for breaking her leg, so she'll forgive me for that.
There's only so much you can get away with, man. Your force field only takes so many hits.
I'm only joking. Do you know what they used to call me back when I worked in retail?
A prick.
No, the unsackable Kevin Wells. The unsackable. Because there's so many times they tried, they failed.
You want to hear something funny? Right, watch this.
What?
Watch. Right, genuine. This is my nose. Ready? Ready? You hear that?
Sounded like a neck snapping.
And
Ugh.
that,
Mental.
mental.
Aye.
Sounded like a stink bomb getting broken, didn't it?
It's got more of a crispier, like that.
Is it still that wee yellow-ish liquid?
Aye.
So it's never changed. I still
Well, it
know
was
the
green.
I
It
still
was like
know the
green.
smell. Oh, is it?
Aye. No, you don't know this smell because this was an out-of-date stink bomb. So it was green. It's been
An
sitting there for
out-of-date
like
stink
13
bomb.
years. Mate, it was like sitting there for like 13 years. That's why Heather spewed.
An out-of-date stink bomb. So a stink bomb, which is manufactured to stink, went off. And you thought, this is the time.
I thought that doesn't look right. Like it's like it wasn't moving as way it should, and it'd gone kind of green. I was like, this will be a banger. This will be fun.
A stink bomb. Shoot a stink bomb. Hey, that's a fucking banger.
Oh, too good, man. Too good. Any roads is what?
You're a liability, mate. You really.
I don't know. Like it was all perfectly planned and all that. And to be fair, there was no mess left in our car or anything. Just the smell.
Oh, such a knob.
I was hoping that she was going to rock up to work and that, like humming and all that stuff. One day, one of these days.
One of these days, Alice.
But so that's us been chatting about the horror hour and all that crazy stuff. So aye, cheers for joining us.
We actually managed to drag it out to an hour as well.
The horror hour. So aye, that was class. So I'm looking forward for you to see the horror hour so we can chat about it a bit more. And we need to do some stuff on that Clubhouse, right?
Yeah. I'll try.
So we'll definitely do that. We'll get some maybe conversations on the go. So anybody that's listening tonight, thank you. I mean, quite a few of you have tuned in tonight, which is super. We did not expect anybody to stay with us at this time. This was going to be one of those things, catch it later or catch it on Spotify and the archives kind of deals that we thought was going to happen. But
I'm surprised that he's still here.
You guys have stuck with us tonight, so thank you very much. Again, your support does not go unnoticed or uncherished by us here at the Jibber Jabber podcast because you guys make this show. Basically, the reason I'm paying for StreamYard. Otherwise, we would just do this a whole other way. But the fact that we get to interact with you guys and give you your own little piece of the show actually makes it all worth the while. So thank you very much, and we truly mean that. So if you like the show, maybe refer it to a pal or give us a review or something. Let us chat a wee bit, let other people come in and build that community. We'll make far more money and we'll be able to put more stuff to you guys for free. Like literally, we would give you all free stuff. I mean, we do give some of you free stuff. We'd give you all free stuff if we could afford it. So just share and you get free shit. See?
Right, here's something here I'll quite happily give away.
He won't send it. Absolutely won't send it.
I will. Right.
Nice.
Optics, drinks dispensers. Right. First person to comment, as long as you live in this country, I'll send it to you.
Hi, me.
That doesn't count.
Oh.
Because it doesn't mean anything to you. Doesn't mean anything to you.
It does. I've got a bar.
Oh, Jabber Jabber podcast. It's coming. It's coming. It's on its way.
It's registered at my address, class. Right, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in tonight, and we will catch you guys next week, where we'll be back at a regular time and a full week of promotion and all that fun stuff. All right, lads. Kev here signing off. J-Mac, anything you'd like to say in closing?
I'm also signing off, and thank you for watching and listening.
Take it
Please
easy.
enjoy your evening.
Mother flippers. Evening, mate. It's nearly midnight.